Okay, so I hadn't actually started. All right, so film criticism 102. And if you've been following through the course, this week we're talking about Bonnie and Clyde. I've already said a lot about Bonnie and Clyde, but I promise you this is one of the last times we're going to speak about Bonnie and Clyde. It's just very important, and it's a landmark film in the history of cinema. And by the way, to the guys that were still waiting to see if this thing is legit or something, you guys really need to join the Discord because all of this is surface level. This is just like a weekly public service announcement of where we are. But Bonnie and Clyde is very important because it's a landmark film. If you've watched it, I gave 4 films like 2 weeks ago. What? There was Bonnie and Clyde, there was Here, there was Uncut Gems, and there was Star. And they were picked carefully. I don't want to start you out with Battle Potmakin from 1918. I'm walking your way backwards while also teaching you criticism. And it's very important. I really hope you guys, to my students, I hope you watch it because we're gonna tonight and tomorrow and the whole week we're gonna be on Discord talking about those movies in depth, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. And don't read Pauline Kael before you actually tell me your thoughts. Just tell me your thoughts and then go read Pauline's review. But today we're gonna be talking about Bonnie and Clyde, the movie, and Pauline Kael's review. I've already spoken about this movie. It came out. It's a pretty great movie. It's actually one of the greatest movies ever made to that point. And Americans kind of like, they're just like, whatever. It's not what I'm used to. It's pretty violent. It's not what they're used to. It's pretty violent, and they're just kind of like, we can live without it. And then it was taken away by the theaters, put on the shelf until Pauline Kael saw it, and she was like, "What?" The first sentence of her review is, "How can somebody make a good movie in this country without getting jumped on?" She wrote a 4,000 word essay, defended it, got it put in the theaters, and then people started noticing like, okay, maybe Pauline has some sense here. And why people were like meh at the beginning, why they didn't respond to it is because this is now back to the base points of criticism, is that sometimes, and this might sound snobbish or elitist to say, but sometimes the public really don't know what they want. They really don't know what they want. A lot of them are sheep. Like Billy Wilder said, one single person in an audience may be an imbecile, but 1,000 imbeciles sitting in the dark, that's critical genius. That actually goes against my point. But anyway, I digress. The people, a lot of times, don't really know what they want. And that is why critics exist. That's why people like you and I have to go watch movies ahead of time and prepare our reviews so that we can tell the public what is with virtue and what is without virtue. We can tell them, yeah, you should go and watch The Odyssey, right? But if you prefer trash like Moana, I mean, yeah, you know what you're walking into. Like, just prepare ahead of time. You're not gonna get a piece of art like when you go see the Nolan movie, but you're gonna get, you need to know this. That's why critics exist, and there's no better example of it than Bonnie and Clyde in 1967. If Pauline Kael did not do this, the way we depict violence in movies, like the ending of the movie, how everybody knows the story of Bonnie and Clyde, they die in a hail of bullets, right? The ending of the film, that 2 minute scene literally gave the future of movies, the entire blueprint of how to shoot violence. There'd be no The Raids, there'd be no John Wicks if it wasn't for Arthur Penn showing Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty getting shot to death in like hundreds of bullets. It was actually, even to this day, when you watch that scene, you're like, oh my God, was that necessary? It's really drastic. And another thing when it comes to film criticism, this is very important because if you're using Bonnie and Clyde as a starting point, use Bonnie and Clyde as a starting point, and then you go forth and you study the filmographies of the three important people in this movie, right? Bonnie and Clyde, played by Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty. You follow now the career of Warren Beatty, who had a great acting career. He was like the Leonardo DiCaprio of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Big movie star, like he was one of the big bankable boys. Him, Gene Hackman, the Shining guy. Fuck, the names are escaping me, but you know him. Jack Nicholson, right? He was one of those bankable boys. There were like 5 or 6 bankable boys with Paul Newman as well. So there was him, great career. You need to study his career. Like, it's important to categorize things because cinema is just a mush. Like, oh, you can talk about Matt Damon Bond movies, you can talk about Michael Bay movies, but it's all just a mush. You need to categorize and you need to think in terms of filmographies, actors' filmographies, directors' filmographies. So we have Warren Beatty, we have Faye Dunaway, who arguably might have even had a better career. Warren Beatty was a was an addict of many things. He made about maybe 1 or 2 movies every 5 years. So I mean, his career could have been better if he was a better worker. But I digress. And then we have other pen directors. If you go through like filmographies, there's a certain organization, and then you start to notice patterns because film critics. It's very important when you read Pauline Kael's review, and it's important. I want you guys to watch the movie and then read the review because when you read the review, you see she's referencing. She's referenced about. Let me pull that up. Let me pull that review up right now on Letterbox. Give me a second. Give me a second. Pauline Kael. You know, the only film critic to win a Pulitzer Award, and for writers, if you come from the writing tradition, a Pulitzer is the highest honor you can win as a writer. The only critic to win a Pulitzer was Roger Ebert. He was a good writer. He had that working for him. He was genuinely a good writer. Pauline Kael, for all her brilliance, like I could listen to Pauline Kael talk for hours, but she could not write very well. It was kind of broken. It was kind of like she wasn't a very good writer, like technically. She wasn't a very good writer, but you know, at least Ebert got the Pulitzer for us. So if you look at Pauline Kael's review, for instance, right? If you look at Pauline Kael's review, for instance, she references Manchurian Candidate 1. She references It Happened One Night 2. She references Gone Crazy. She references They Live by Night. They Live by Night already come out by then. Interesting. She references what else? She references You Only Live Once. She references like 10 movies in this review. Let us know. Some of them I haven't even seen, if I'm being honest. But she references so many movies in this review, and that actually gives you more understanding of why it's important. And if you really want like a roadmap to studying film history, start with this one review. And some of these movies aren't really necessary, and I'm just gonna tell you the ones that I haven't seen aren't really necessary. If you want a list of movies to watch after this, like now, that's why I started you with something relatively new, so that you can work your way back. If you want something if you want a list of movies that she referenced in this review that you need to watch, I will give it to you on our Discord. Yeah, you need to join the official 24 FPS Academy. I'm gonna give that list. But when a critic has seen everything, they are able to connect dots. There are patterns you start to recognize. You've seen 6 Christopher Nolan movies, and then you see The Odyssey. You start to notice, oh, okay, yeah, there's this thing he's been doing for his whole career. And then you notice he did it better maybe 3 years ago in this movie, or he's perfected it. He kind of did it terribly in this movie, but here he is perfect. Like with The Odyssey, which recently came out. I knew I was gonna talk about The Odyssey on this stream. I'm so sorry. I knew I was gonna do it. Oh, in The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan has made a career out of doing time bending stories. It's almost like a gimmick. It's like his marketing gimmick. A new Christopher Nolan movie. Oh, what's he doing with time this time? How is he raping time somehow? But with The Odyssey, it's like, yes, it's non-linear the way he always does, but there's never been a better use of it. Because even when you go online, you see everyone talking about the last 20 minutes of The Odyssey are so crazy. It's because like it all connects, it all conjoins. And in his whole career as a writer, he's never been able to do that. And if you hadn't seen, this is why you have to see a lot of cinema. If you hadn't seen his previous work, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't be able to point that out, and that's less value you're offering the reader. You have to be the most intelligent audience member. If the reader knows more than you, then that's a problem. Next point. I am done talking about Bonnie and Clyde. My students, go to the. I hope you've watched it. Give me a short 300-word review. Just I want to see how you think, because Bonnie and Clyde as a movie right now, when you watch it, it's kind of tame, it's kind of normal. We're kind of used to that stuff, and that's why I suggested the next movie, which is here, which is a weird movie. It could be 50 years from now. This movie is still weird. I want to see. The reason I'm telling you guys to write me a review so quickly, so soon, is because I want to see. I want to see how you think. I want to separate the fake critics, and a lot of fake critics, even professionally, working in Los Angeles. There are a lot of people who pretend to be critics and just buzzword stuff critics say, and then there are people who are actually critics, people who know how to think. And I say criticism is the art of thinking, not the art of reviewing movies and telling people what to watch. It is the art of thinking. And when you're presented with a movie as weird as Here or Uncut Gems or Tar or Bonnie and Clyde, and you can't just shoot out your buzzwords, and you can't just gamble, oh, I liked it, buzzword, and then somebody comes and tells you that's an idiotic standpoint, someone smarter than you. You have to be able to use your own independent judgment. You have to understand the medium at its core, so that when you're presented with something so freaking weird, it doesn't even resemble anything like a movie, you're able to judge it. So that when you watch documentaries which don't follow traditional three-act structures like fiction films do, you're able to form a rational hypothesis of why the film fails or why it doesn't. And just a tip, movies are the ultimate art. I always say movies aren't art, which they aren't. They're products. The way in the world we live in, they are products. But in another way, they're kind of like the ultimate art. They conjoin so many different art forms. And by virtue of being the ultimate art, art is all about emotion. When you listen to a piece of music, you like a certain song more than another because it makes you feel more or better or worse, right? Same thing with a piece of a book or a literature. Movies is the same way. You liked the Odyssey more than you liked Madame Web because the Odyssey made you feel things, deep human things that Madame Web just wasn't interested in doing. And that's even when you're presented with something weird, it may not have the structure, and structure is a lie. Don't ever take the hard things that professors tell you. Oh, using a narrator is a lack of imagination. Oh, you must, even the three-act structure, it's not law. There's no law written on a tablet somewhere that you must follow these rules. The only rule that exists is you need to make someone feel an emotion. It doesn't matter how you do that. If you do that, you've already done the thing. So when you're presented with something weird, you have to be able to articulate why it made you feel a certain way or not. And that's exactly why I told you guys to watch those movies. So please give me your short 300-word reviews of all those 4 films. I'm actually quite interested in hearing what the lot of you have to say. So let me go through my notes because my full of scorpions is my mind, as Macbeth would say. Filmography. Okay, on the point of you've been presented with something weird, I want to make this very relevant to today right now. The Kenyan theaters, we are about to be presented with a very weird movie. Not much unlike Bonnie and Clyde in 1967. We're about to be presented with a film called The Memory of Princess Mumbi. Alright, last year I made a video on TikTok that was ranking the best Kenyan movies of all time, and I had seen it. I'm one of the few people who've seen it. I managed to catch it at Nairobi Film Festival last year, and I put it as an honorable mention because it wasn't dry, right? It's like a piece of art. Like the paint's still wet. I have to let it dry before I make any sweeping statements. It's been about a year now. I think about the film from time to time, and I think I can confidently say that Memory of Princess Movie might be the best Kenyan movie ever made. Nairobi Half-Life finally has been dethroned. Not like it was a Kenyan movie to be in the first place, but finally Nairobi Half-Life has been dethroned. Memory of Princess Mumbi. It's a film that's controversial for using AI to look the way it does. Obviously, they didn't have the budget to make a story set in 2096 or whatever the hell the story is set. So it looks pretty good, and it's shot on a budget, obviously. And I was there at the question and answer. I had all the struggles that the director had to go through to make the film. So I don't know if that added an extra appreciation to it. Probably not, because I just watched it. I don't really care about what you go through to make your movie. I know making movies are hard. Trust me, I've been on that road, and I do not care about any other person suffering. I care only about my own. Show me the product. Let me see what's on screen. And what I saw on screen, truly a work of art, man. Damian Hauser, I know you are half Kenyan, half Swiss, but this is a Kenyan story. It feels so freaking Kenyan, and you, sir, have finally made a movie worthy of my lobbying. I'm staking my reputation on this. I remember when Vera came out a few years ago, I was like, oh, this movie is pretty good. And some people agreed, some people didn't. But with this one, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say if you don't agree, you have no soul. But it's such a powerful romantic film. And it's sci-fi. It's listed as a sci-fi, but sci-fi is just in the background. Like all great art, it's simple. It's about one thing. It's like Hemingway said, don't try and overcomplicate it to B plots and C plots and all these diverging things. The best people, Hemingway understood this, John Huston understood this, Shakespeare understood this. The best pieces of art are boiled down to one thing: bravery, death, life, love. It's always about one thing. Don't try to overcomplicate things, and that's exactly what Memory of Princess Movie is about. It's about one thing. It might seem to be full, and that's the magic trick I like. It might seem to be full. It seems like an overwhelming kind of film, but at the end of the day, if you just boil it down, I don't want to spoil what it's about, but it's it's human and it's deeply felt. And I think everybody should go and watch this movie. And I think it should have a very long run in a lot of theaters in the country. I think we should lobby for that. I think even the government should step in and do something. But hey, I'm just a guy with a microphone. Next topic of contention is Here. I was talking about Here and why it's important that people watch it. It's a movie that's kind of like this stream. The camera is set in one place. It's a wider shot, like a whole room. The camera is set in one place, and I had 300 years pass by, not 3,000 years pass by, not 3,000, 300,000 years pass by, from like the dinosaurs all the way to the Declaration of Independence in America, all the way to the 1800s, all the way to Snapchat. You know, it's like it's a weird film, and I wanna see how your minds worked. I'm not gonna say whether I liked it or not, but I'm sure you guys can just go to my letterbox and see what I rated it. Or I hope I didn't say anything about it, but I want to see what you guys think about Here, because then we'll be able to separate the threads that make a fake critic and the threads that make a real thinker. Difference, a real thinker. Now, before I end this stream, all right, before I end this stream, and we're gonna be streams every day today, because last week I was sick. I must apologize. I didn't have any stream last week. I was a little sick. I was a little overwhelmed. I had a lot on my plate as well, but I always come through. And this week we're gonna cover this. I want to cover this curriculum as quickly as possible. I want you guys to be writing for publications like Cinema Focus and The Nation and ADX within the year, within the year or within a couple of months. And that's a curriculum. I'm gonna need help in a couple of months. I'm gonna advance a few of you to the next stage, and I'm gonna import a few helpers to help me push this thing further along. But like I said, I want to keep these things relevant, and I want to talk about a short film that I was recently sent by an actor that I really respect from our generation. I think the finest Kenyan actor. I usually have a contention with actors. The actresses, you people are wonderful, by the way. Kenyan actresses, I love most of you. I love most of you, but actors, we have a leading man problem. And I don't know if it's the crime genre, the people you cast. And I'm not talking about Peter Kawa. Peter Kawa, you're excluded from this. Every single other actor, they have this wooden, they're not space displacing. They have this wooden disposition I don't know if they're afraid of carrying a whole show on their back. Imagine if you had to carry a whole film on your back, how much more nerve-wracking that would be. I don't know if it's an incest inbreeding kind of thing where people just keep casting the same people. But anyway, I digress. Toby Tom sent me a film called Grey is No Color, which he produced and starred in. And it's very impressive, because if I'm going to give you one reason you should watch this film, is because guess what? It was shot all in one take. It's a wanna. It's one long wanna. It's a 6-minute wanna. And I always say a one take is what separates the boys from the men. And it was directed by a lady, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You get the reference. It's what separates the boys from the men. It's what separates fake directors who keep cutting. Right? It's a crutch. I'll just fix it in post. I'll just go cut. Tell the story like a child. Crayons. Or you can be choreographer. You can treat your film like ballet. And the camera operator becomes part and parcel of the dance. And Toby Tom is there doing his thing. Vanessa Aiko, I do apologize. One of the two, Vanessa, she's there playing a Karen, who I want to despise, right? But performance is so strong and voice is so good, I just can't bring myself to. Anyway, I want to hear what you guys think about that one take. I think it was a lovely one take. I do have one criticism though. I don't know to level this at the director, the director, not the camera operator. Some of those movements are unmotivated. It to the point where it draws attention to this is a wanna. Okay, like the camera is moving. Most of the time it was motivated, which is cool. Like this guy does this, so the camera moves here and it's invisible, which is nice. But other times I was like, okay, now you're just moving the camera to move the camera. Trying to be flashy. You're like 80s Martin Scorsese cocaine camera, which is kind of sloppy. But like I said, separated the boys from the men. That's a director with balls. Again, you get the reference. And very good film. I want to see what people think about it. Grey is No Color. It's in black and white on YouTube, and the colored version is on Instagram. I watched the black and white version because I'm a grown-up and I can handle black and white. And so should you. So I will see you tomorrow on the next stream. We're going to be talking about writing. Tomorrow, I hope you guys have watched the film Tar, starring Kate Blanchett. Perhaps the finest performance of a very, very storied career. Tar. She got nominated for that, and she lost the Academy to. Does anyone remember Michelle Yeoh's performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once? Is anyone talking about it? I think we're studying Kate Blanchett in Tar over here. I feel like she should have won the Oscar, but Jesus Christ, that Best Actress category is so cast. Lily Gladstone lost to Emma Stone, and rightfully. Emma Stone is a freaking movie star. She's gonna have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Kate Blanchett was robbed by Michelle Yeoh. Next year, Anne Hathaway is probably gonna get robbed too, because Warner Brothers has it out for Christopher Nolan. It's gonna be war at the Academy Awards because of Universal and it's so unfair. That Best Actress category is cast. But I do digress. You guys go see Grey's No Color, and we will talk about it tomorrow as well. And tomorrow we'll talk about Tar. We'll talk about the writing in Tar, because like I said, I'm teaching criticism, but I'm also a screenwriter, a pretty good screenwriter, and editing, because I'm also a pretty good editor. So catch tomorrow, because every day we're gonna do streams. Last week we didn't have any streams. I was sick. I was out of commission, but today I'm back in. We are locked in. We are pushing the curriculum. By the end of the week, we're gonna have new, more exciting things. We're gonna put these 4 films to the side. We're gonna do something new. And Anamu's Week is coming out on July 31st. Just a reminder. We finally got an invite, so we're gonna be there. We're gonna be streaming. Gonna be fast IRL stream. I'm gonna take you guys to a red carpet event just to show you how awkward things get sometimes. But and I'm like, I know those guys, lovely people. It's gonna be a good time. So have a nice evening. Watch good movies. Watch bad movies. Trash bad movies publicly. Embarrass the director, the actors, and the producers, and praise good movies, and kiss their hands, and write songs about them, and buy them cakes. Anyway, see you tomorrow.